All right, church, it's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for this week's edition of Wednesday Wi-Fi. How is your divine connection? You know, as the heat index rises this week, and as the thermometer shows hotter and hotter because it's measuring the temperature outside, I pray that you wouldn't have that kind of relationship with God where it changes and fluctuates with the good or the bad in your life when things are hot or things are cold, but you would be a thermostat that determines your own walk of faith, that you would be the one who determines what the temperature will be in your walk with Christ, and you will always have the dial turned up. You have the ability to walk with God strongly, and that you would do so. You don't have to let circumstances dictate how you walk with God. You don't have to let circumstances dictate whether it's going to be a good day or a bad day. You don't have to let yesterday determine today, or your worries for tomorrow to determine today, but you would trust in the Lord. That is my prayer for you on this Wednesday Wi-Fi. We're in the Psalms, and today we're going to be looking at a portion of Psalm 5 where it says it was written by David for the flutes, which is kind of cool that he had all these different worshipers that surrounded him in his kingdom. And he himself was a worshiper, but he hung out with other people who worshiped God. And, you know, the company you keep says a lot about the trajectory of your future. And David hung out with people who were worshipers of God. And so he would write these Psalms, and the expectation was that they would use them as worship unto God. And so Psalm 5 is just that. It's a worship unto God. It's a worship song to the Lord. And there's one specific verse I want to look at in Psalm 5, and it's verse 3. David says this, "O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning I prepare a sacrifice for you and watch." David knew, I mean, as a shepherd, I can only imagine that he would sit and watch the sunrise most every day. I'm sure he had to keep watch sometimes at night, but then in the morning, he was there to see the sun rise, to start a new day, the dawn of a new day. And I know that you can pray anytime during the day. I know that you can seek God in the afternoon and the evening, but there is a golden hour where the breaking of the dawn disperses and dispenses the darkness that was all night, and light breaks through. And there's a time in the morning that you can spend undisturbed with the Lord. And I pray that you capitalize on that quiet time, the first part of your day, before the craziness sets in, before all the madness of your day and all the stresses and the expectations and the demands of life, and that you start your day with Jesus. How do you start your day? Is the first thing you do going on your phone? Is the first thing you do checking social media? Is the first thing you do checking your text messages, your emails, the news headlines? Let your day begin in the presence of Jesus. Let your day begin in the presence of God. It's literally like tuning an instrument before you go into the concert, or before you go into the symphony, the orchestra. You tune that instrument, and it sets the standard for the remainder of what will be done. And I pray that over you, that is what you do with your day. You begin your day, you tune the instrument of your heart to the sound of heaven. And we see this over and over again in Lamentations chapter 3, verses 22 and 23. He says, His mercies are new every morning. There's something beautiful about capitalizing the mercies of the Lord in the morning. Psalm 118:24, "For this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it." That's the spark of a new day, the ignition of a new day. In Mark chapter 1, verse 35, it says that Jesus got up while it was still dark. It was early. The sun hadn't even risen yet, and Jesus was up and praying in solitude to his Father. There's something about taking that opportunity to pray in solitude, to spend quiet time alone, and may that be the rhythm of each and every day of your life. I guarantee you that when you take the time to start your day in the presence of God, it will impact the remainder of your day. Here's your sermon in 60 seconds. We had a little combo platter, myself and Brother Dave Wiersma, this past week out of Galatians chapter 3, that seamless transition where Paul is rebuking them because they've swerved off of the path of truth and they stepped into the lie of following the law and legalism. And the driving point that he made was that David brought up, which is the Abrahamic covenant. And the Abrahamic covenant was so important important to people who try to live a legalistic life as opposed to walking by faith, because Abrahamic covenant came before the law of Moses. And so he couldn't follow the law, and yet God called him righteous. And so that was the challenge that he gave to the Galatians. He said, how on earth could you trust in the law when God called Abraham righteous before there ever was a law? It's simply by your faith in Jesus. May you walk in faith, hope, and trust in Jesus as you round out this week. Have a wonderful 4th of July. I'm looking forward to this Sunday. It's our kids service takeover. It's going to be a great time. Don't forget to pre-order your delicious pulled pork sandwich if you haven't done so. They're going to be amazing. I'll see you here to celebrate what God's doing in our kids and the next generation at 8, 9, and 11. God bless you.